far from the cities and the noise of the modern world. There is a land that time has never fully tamed. Volcanoes that still breath. Salt flats where flamingos have gathered for thousands of years. And an ocean where humpback whales follow paths older than memory. Chile is not one place. It is every extreme the Earth has ever imagined. Welcome to the edge of the wild. Welcome to Chile.
Huh?
Honored as the 8th natural wonder of the world and voted as the 5th most beautiful place globally by National Geographic magazine, Torres del Paine National Park possesses a mystical beauty that goes beyond any camera lens and can only be fully appreciated when you set foot there in person. The name Torres del Paine carries a very poetic meaning: the Blue Towers. Paine is the word for blue in the language of the indigenous Tehuelche people. The heart of the park is the Paine Massif, where 3 massive monolithic granite towers rise over 2,500 meters high, like fangs piercing the South American sky. Did you know that beneath the melting layers of cold ice here, scientists have discovered a dinosaur graveyard with at least 46 nearly intact skeletons of ichthyosaurs? They were ancient marine creatures that swam in this region from 90 to 245 million years ago. Coming here, you will also experience a particularly impressive type of weather, experiencing all 4 seasons entirely in a single day, where mighty winds sweeping across the steppe can suddenly give way to golden sunshine or snow. Not only covered by boulders and ice, this vast national park has been recognised by UNESCO as a World Biosphere Reserve since 1978. Beneath the temperate forest canopies and on the vast steppes, you will encounter a highly wild ecosystem. This is a territory where herds of guanacos roam freely. Pumas stalk in the canyons, and up in the sky is the magnificent wingspan of the Andean condor. Before moving on to the next section, let's test your knowledge with a fascinating question. Which is the name of the longest mountain range in the world that runs along the entire length of Chile? Drop your final answer in the comments below and share any cool facts you know with us. Located over 2,180 miles from the Chilean mainland, Easter Island, Rapa Nui, is considered the most remote inhabited place on Earth. This island was originally discovered and settled by Polynesian explorers around the 12th century, bringing with them a unique culture deeply rooted in the barren volcanic land. The greatest grandeur and mystery of Rapa Nui lies in nearly 1,000 giant megalithic stone statues, also known as moai, standing tall along the coast or scattered across the hillsides. Most of these statues were carved from volcanic tuff at the Rano Raraku quarry, where skilled craftsmen sculpted works weighing tens of tons using only basic stone carving tools. Some special statues even wear red stone hats, pukao, mined from the Punapau quarry. For centuries, the world has always wondered how ancient inhabitants could transport these massive stone blocks across rugged mountainous terrain. The answer has actually always lied in the oral legends of the indigenous people when they claim that the statues walked by themselves. And indeed, practical scientific experiments have proven that the ancient Rapa Nui people used ropes tied around the standing statues, alternately pulling from both sides to make them rock and slowly inch forward exactly as if they were walking. In the 18th century and peaking in the 1860s, slave traders from Peru attacked and kidnapped about half of the island's population. The few survivors who returned inadvertently brought smallpox and tuberculosis pathogens, creating devastating epidemics that claimed the lives of most of the remaining people on the island. The Valley of the Moon appears as a forgotten fragment of the universe right in the heart of the Atacama, the driest desert in the world. Located in the Los Flamencos National Reserve in northern Chile, the landscape here has a rugged, faded appearance with layers of white salt covering cracked rocks. It is so desolate that NASA once chose it as a testing ground for Mars rover prototypes, because its arid and harsh terrain is remarkably similar to the Red Planet. Completely devoid of flora or fauna, the valley is immersed in an atmosphere of absolute silence, evoking a sense of isolation akin to walking on Earth's natural satellite. Looking deep into its geological layers, this land is essentially a stone chronicle written approximately 33 million years ago. It was originally a water-filled depression before tectonic faulting and intense volcanic activity pushed the folded terrain upwards, forming the Cordillera de la Sal Salt Mountain Range. Over millions of years, wind erosion and rare rainfall have meticulously carved the surface into natural sculptural masterpieces. For adventurous souls, this unforgiving terrain constantly beckons to be conquered. Many choose to rent mountain bikes or hike, weaving through the cliffs and gliding smoothly across vast stretches of sand without disrupting the inherent stillness. However, because some surrounding areas reach elevations of over 3,500 meters above sea level, the body is highly susceptible to altitude sickness, puna. To adapt to this, an immutable rule is to stay continuously hydrated and avoid sudden, vigorous movements. Leaving behind the noise and bustle of the capital, Santiago, a journey of about 98 kilometers to the southeast will lead you to one of the most brilliant jade gems hidden amidst the Andes Mountains, the El Yeso Reservoir, or Embalse El Yeso. Completed in 1964 by damming the Yeso River, This massive structure, with a capacity of up to 250 million cubic meters, is not only the vital drinking water supply for the entire Santiago metropolitan area, but has also become a natural masterpiece that captivates anyone who makes the effort to visit. The journey to conquer this land carries the distinct vibe of a wild road trip, as the smooth asphalt road gradually gives way to deep canyons and turns into rugged dirt and rocky paths. The reward at the end of the journey is a truly satisfying sight, as the scenery opens up to a sparkling turquoise lake nestled amidst the encirclement of snow-capped mountain peaks. The atmosphere here brings a feeling of complete isolation from the civilized world, making the dam an ideal sanctuary for weekend picnics. Recently, this area has been renovated and reopened with an entrance fee of 3,000 Chilean pesos per person on weekends, allowing visitors to step right up to the dam's barrier to capture a spectacular panoramic view of the entire lagoon. Due to its high altitude above sea level, the climate here can change rapidly with sudden drops in temperature, requiring visitors to bring appropriate warm clothing for all types of weather. There is a surreal art museum in southern Chile called the Marble Caves, which was not built by human hands, but meticulously sculpted by nature. This complex of wonders includes outstanding masterpieces such as the Marble Cathedral, Catedral de Mármol, and the Marble Chapel, Capilla de Mármol, rising magnificently right above the emerald green waters of Lake General Carrera, the second largest freshwater lake in South America. Instead of the usual dark appearance, the space inside the caves is brightly illuminated by the reflection of light from the lake surface onto the white and blue marble walls, creating an unpredictable, shifting visual performance that changes depending on the weather and the time of day. The sculpting process of this masterpiece is a grand geological chronicle, originating about 10 to 15 kilometers underground, heat of 300 to 400 degrees Celsius, and extreme pressure transformed the original limestone foundation into marble blocks. When massive glaciers melted and retreated 10,000 to 15,000 years ago, the lake water, rich in carbonic acid, began to silently erode and dissolve the marble layer to carve out the intricate arches, pillars and tunnels as they appear today over the past 6,000 years. The only way to enter the caves is by gliding on the water. While a motorboat ride, lasting about 1.5 to 2.5 hours, offers comfort, kayaking allows participants to navigate through each low, narrow cave arch for a close-up look at the miraculous stone veins. Separated from mainland Chile by the narrow Chacao Channel, Chiloe Island, the country's second largest island, emerges as a world where the concept of time seems to have completely stood still. Stepping onto this southern island is like opening a fairy tale filled with magical realism, where quiet rural roads and lingering fog embrace dense temperate rainforests. The most captivating visual hallmark of the island is the presence of palafitos, brightly coloured wooden houses perched on tall stilts right at the water's edge in the capital city of Castro. This clever design once allowed fishermen to anchor their boats directly under their houses and step straight into the street from their front doors. Interwoven among the coastal neighbourhoods are wooden churches with fish-scale shingle roofs, such as the Tenaun Church, which was assembled entirely using woodwork techniques so exquisite that not a single iron nail was needed. This place is also a safe haven for the world's smallest deer species, the perdue, as well as many bird species such as pelicans, yellow-legged gulls, and pintails. The Chilote people believe that this pristine land was born from an earth-shattering battle between the water god Kaikai Vilu, taking the form of a giant serpent, and the earth god Trentren Vilu. When night falls, people whisper spine-chilling stories about El Trauco, an ugly dwarf goblin who hides in the forest and uses his magical breath to seduce women, or prophecies about a mysterious society of male witches who once used human skin to make amulet bags. Do you believe these legends are true? Comment 1 if yes, comment 0 if no. And if you know any other interesting information, please share it with us in the comments below. Stretching over 1,600 kilometers along the Pacific coast of South America, the Atacama Desert is often mistaken for a barren wasteland, but in reality, it is a spectacular symphony of contrasts. Recognized as the driest non-polar desert in the world, the harshness of Atacama stems from a double rain shadow effect created by the Andes Mountains and the Chilean Coast Range, which blocks all moisture from both oceans. The average annual rainfall here is only 15 millimeters, and there are even weather stations that have never recorded a single drop of rain throughout history. It is so desolate that NASA frequently uses this area to test Mars rover prototypes. However, nestled within this seemingly extraterrestrial landscape are magical oases, sparkling turquoise lagoons like Ceja Lagoon, or the bubbling El Tatio Valley with over 80 massive geysers. In the rare years when it receives heavy rain, the arid surface performs a miracle known as the Desert in Bloom, Desierto Florido, draping itself in a vibrant carpet of pink and purple. Interspersed is the resilient rhythm of animal life. Flocks of South American flamingos wading in vibrant shallow lagoons, and herds of vicuñas foraging for food. As soon as night falls, the complete absence of light pollution turns this place into the clearest window on the planet for observing the universe, with over 200 cloudless nights per year. Hundreds of thousands of twinkling stars appear so vividly that it gives the feeling you only need to reach out your hand to touch the sky. Towering and piercing the sky of southern Chile at an altitude of 2,652 meters, the Osorno volcano is not just a destination, but a landmark natural symbol, marking the gateway to the wild land of Patagonia. Situated on the border between the Osorno and Llanquihue provinces in the Los Lagos region, This stratovolcano rises like a majestic guardian deity, embracing the southeastern shore of Lake Llanquihue. With its perfect conical shape, covered in a layer of pristine white snow all year round, Osorno is frequently likened by enthusiasts to the Mount Fuji of South America. But do not let that eternal icy shell deceive you, for deep inside Osorno remains a fiery heart. Beginning its tectonic formation about 200,000 years ago, it is one of the most active volcanoes in the southern Andes. Although it has fallen into a deep slumber with its last recorded eruption in 1869, its history has witnessed violent rages, notably the eruption in January 1835, which was coincidentally recorded by the great scientist Charles Darwin during his voyage on the historic ship Beagle. Today, the slopes of Osorno have become a four-season recreational paradise, beckoning souls yearning for freedom. In winter, it transforms into an incredibly vibrant ski centre. When the summer snow partially melts, Osorno opens up a domain dedicated to explorers. Hiking and trekking enthusiasts can enjoy a 360-degree panoramic view of the neighbouring river, lake, and mountain systems. Tongoy is a charming and peaceful coastal town in the Coquimbo region. Nestled on a rocky peninsula jutting out into the Pacific Ocean, this town features a highly unique residential structure divided into two harmoniously intertwined worlds. The peninsula area, affectionately called La Isla, or the island by locals, which gathers lovely summer vacation homes. The remaining part is Pueblo Bajo, Lower Village, where the daily life of long-time local residents takes place. With a characteristic semi-arid climate, the temperatures are cool and stable along the coast, but experience significant fluctuations between day and night deeper inland. The name Tongoy originates from the ancient Mapudungun language, meaning hammer blows. This land holds an incredible depth of history, having once been home to the Diaguitas, miners and farmers who specialized in extracting and crafting copper ore, and the Shangos, a nomadic maritime culture known for their unique rafts made of stretched sea lion skins over wooden frames. In the 19th century, Tongoy experienced a golden age as a bustling seaport, serving as a massive transit hub for exporting copper ore from the distant Tamaya mine, and was equipped with an advanced railway for its time, as well as a large-scale smelting furnace system. When the southern summer months beckon from December to February, Tongoy awakens and transforms into a bustling resort hub, attracting a large number of avid travellers from the capital Santiago, neighbouring cities, and even international tourists from Argentina. Right in the midst of the world's driest Atacama Desert, Bahia Inglesa appears like a tropical mirage that deceives every sense of the traveller. After long miles of crossing the arid and dusty coastal landscape, this shoreline suddenly opens up a Caribbean-style picture with smooth white sand beaches and crystal clear waters in deep turquoise. At the serene beaches, The sheltered bay creates a flat, calm water surface, which is highly ideal for families to stroll and swim safely. However, upon dipping your feet into the water, the rather cold temperature brought by the Humboldt Current will immediately awaken you, reminding you that this place still belongs to the rugged South Pacific, rather than being a true equatorial beach. Beyond the leisurely beauty of hours spent lounging and sunbathing on the sand, this bay is a vibrant stage for water sports thanks to the always clear and sunny sky. If you prefer tranquility, you can take kayaking trips to neighbouring islands or go scuba diving to explore the coral reefs and marine algae ecosystems. Even the name Bahia Inglesa harbours an adventure story tinged with legend. It was named after the English pirate Edward Davis, who anchored his ship, the Bachelor, in this bay in 1687 and left his mark on a rock. The information in this video was gathered from various sources, so please bear with us if there are any errors. We would love to hear your feedback in the comments to help us improve. Originating from the westernmost point of the tranquil Lake Todos Los Santos and winding downstream for about 36 kilometers to empty into the Reloncaví estuary, the Petrohue River offers a visually overwhelming and pristine landscape. The natural scenery here showcases the majestic beauty of the Lake District, with its central highlight being the vibrantly characteristic emerald green water. The peculiarly clear hue of this glacial meltwater becomes even more prominent against the towering backdrop of the massive Osorno volcano, which is crowned with a white snow cap all year round. Enveloping the space on both sides of the river is the brilliant emerald green of the dense vegetation belonging to the Valdivian rainforest, occasionally interspersed with pebble beaches and peaceful swamps. The utmost drama of the river's landscape converges at the Petrohue waterfalls, Saltos de Petrohue area, where the gentle flow suddenly transforms into powerful, surging masses of water. Unlike ordinary rivers, the Petrohue rushes rapidly through incredibly bizarre geological formations that bear the profound tectonic marks of ancient volcanoes. The fierce emerald water pierces and maneuvers through a system of crevices and lava ridges that solidified thousands of years ago. This massive downpour against gravity carves out a series of spectacular waterfalls, turning the river's surface into a lively stage for furious water dances. The swift current continuously crashes against obstructing cliffs, shattering into thousands of pieces of white foam floating into the air, accompanied by an incessant roar echoing like thunder. Inaugurated in October 2016, this is the 8th continental temple and also the final one built by the Bahá'í community worldwide. Nestled peacefully at the foot of the majestic Andes Mountains on the outskirts of the capital Santiago, the Bahá'í Temple emerges not only as an architectural masterpiece, but also as a sanctuary of light and tranquility. Unlike many closed religions, the doors of this temple are always wide open to welcome everyone, regardless of gender, origin, or faith. Designed by Canadian architect Siamak Hariri, this structure is a symphony composed of materials and space. Reaching 30 meters in both height and diameter, the building takes the graceful shape of an unfolding lotus flower with 9 gigantic petals, also referred to as 9 sails. The number 9 carries a core symbolic meaning, expressed through 9 entrances, 9 walking paths, and 9 surrounding fountains, leading visitors into an open space that can accommodate up to 600 people at once. The shell of the 9 petals is exquisitely crafted from 2 special materials, a sturdy outer layer of cast glass and an inner lining of translucent Estremoz marble imported from Portugal. As dusk falls, the temple's dome continuously and brilliantly transforms, shifting gradually from white to silver, then taking on an ochre red hue, before finally sinking into purple. Since its opening, this marvel has become a massively popular destination, welcoming up to 2.5 million visitors as of 2024. Covering an area of up to 215,000 acres, this is the second largest lake in Chile, bearing a mysterious name that means submerged in the language of the indigenous Mapuche people. Nestled in the Los Lagos region of Chile, Lake Llanquihue appears like a giant mirror, perfectly reflecting the majesty of South American nature. The lake's surface always stands out with an intense blue color, and on clear days this place becomes a magnificent painting, mirroring the towering volcanic peaks that surround it. In particular, Osorno is considered by countless geologists as one of the most perfect volcanoes in the world in terms of shape, color, and texture. To fully admire the beauty of this vast body of water, the most ideal journey is an expedition around the lake shore with a total length of about 186 kilometers. The climate in the lake region features a rainy oceanic characteristic mixed with a slight Mediterranean influence, maintaining an average annual temperature of 11 degrees Celsius. And drizzling rains can appear suddenly even in the middle of summer. Along the edge of the lake is a string of towns and cities with an incredibly charming hybrid beauty, where the heritage of German immigrants harmoniously intertwines with the local pace of life. The ideal starting point is usually Puerto Varas, the city of roses, offering a spectacular view of the volcanoes and the peaceful lakeshore. Next is Fruitalar, a highly artistic stopover featuring the iconic Teatro del Lago Theatre, the German Colonial Museum, and the renowned annual classical music festival that takes place around late January to early February. Located at an elevation of 4,320 meters above sea level in the Andes of northern Chile, El Tatio stands out as the third largest geyser field in the world and the largest in the southern hemisphere. The journey to this geothermal wonder always begins long before dawn, requiring an effort to traverse the darkness of the wild desert. As soon as the car doors open, the biting cold of the Altiplano region will instantly pierce through the thickest layers of warm clothing. However, This extreme temperature difference is exactly the perfect catalyst. When the first rays of sunlight stretch across the volcanic ridges, a vast expanse of land suddenly awakens. El Tatio, a name meaning the crying grandfather, the oven, or the burning in the ancient Kunza language, wakes up with over 80 geysers and hundreds of gas vents, releasing billowing breaths into the air day and night. Due to the thin atmospheric pressure at this altitude, water boils at just about 86 to 88 degrees Celsius. The intense collision between the boiling water erupting from the ground and the freezing air draws up massive columns of steam, reaching up to 10 meters high. Under the gentle light of dawn, the thick, silvery white smoke is gradually dyed a brilliant rose gold hue. Walking along the carefully laid out stone paths, the ground beneath your feet constantly echoes with lively sizzling and bubbling sounds. With sky-high levels of ultraviolet, UV, radiation, thin air, and a groundwater source loaded with minerals and arsenic, the environment at El Tatio is so unique that scientists worldwide frequently come here to study it as a perfect replica of the primordial Earth or the ancient surface of Mars. A 90-minute drive along Route G21 will officially bring visitors into the territory of Valle Nevado. Located approximately 46 kilometers east of the bustling capital Santiago, this place is a world apart, nestled atop the towering peaks of the Andes Mountains. Dubbed as one of the most modern and largest ski resorts in South America, this destination carries the distinct vibe of a high-end snowy mountain lifestyle, perfectly combining luxury infrastructure with world-class extreme sports quality. Created in 1988 by French entrepreneurs who were inspired by renowned European resorts, Valle Nevado is situated at a base elevation of up to 3,000 meters and reaches its peak at 3,670 meters. This sky-high locational advantage not only provides an impeccably perfect snow surface quality, but also ensures a consistently long winter from June to October every year. The vast terrain here spans a massive ski area possessing a modern system of 17 ski lifts. The terrain distribution is exquisitely calculated to please every pair of feet. 14% is designed for beginners, 25% for intermediate runs, 41% for advanced levels, and 20% is the domain of expert skiers yearning to conquer natural steep slopes. The allure of Valle Nevado also lies in its aesthetically pleasing and convenient ski-in, ski-out resort philosophy, stepping straight from your room door to the slopes. The architectural complex here gathers high-end hotels, opening up to hundreds of rooms with balconies that fully embrace the majestic panorama of the Andes Mountains. Along the sun-drenched coast of northern Chile, La Serena emerges as a perfectly harmonious picture between ancient colonial heritage and a liberal coastal lifestyle. As the capital of the Coquimbo region and the second oldest city in Chile, this land was founded in 1544 with the initial purpose of creating a stopover connecting Santiago with Lima in the Viceroyalty of Peru. The visual hallmark encompassing the entire central area, lies in its incredibly elegant neo-colonial architecture, which was shaped through the Plan Serena urban planning project in the mid-20th century. Dubbed the City of Belfries or the City of Churches, this place preserves a series of unique, centuries-old religious buildings. Oregon pine brought back by copper-carrying ships, travelling back and forth from North America. The heart of this entire historical area is the tree-shaded square, home to the majestic neoclassical La Serena Cathedral, Catedral de la Serena, with its floor beautifully paved with black and white marble tiles. Along the coastal avenue, Avenida del Mar, stretching for about 6 kilometres, is a string of 12 smooth golden sand beaches, connecting La Serena to the Peñuelas area of the adjacent sister city of Coquimbo. Towering at the starting point of the avenue is the iconic monumental lighthouse, Faro Monumental de la Serena, built in 1952. Although the beaches in La Serena often have rough waves and aren't quite perfect for swimming, this windswept coastline is a haven for sand sports, relaxing bike rides and enjoying seafood at countless beachfront restaurants. Although known as an irrigation project, Lake Colbun emerges as a giant artificial oasis, soothing the harsh heat of the Mediterranean climate. Built between 1980 and 1985 to dam the Mall River for agricultural irrigation and hydroelectric power generation, this 5,700 hectare body of water has become the largest artificial reservoir in Chile, with a capacity of up to 1,490 million cubic meters. Setting foot here at an altitude of 440 meters above sea level, the foremost attraction is its crystal clear water. This is a rare characteristic formed because the Mall River carries no mud or sediment down from the mountains. When the southern summer months arrive, bringing temperatures that can exceed 30 degrees Celsius, Lake Colbun completely transforms into a vibrant entertainment and resort centre. The crystal clear water, combined with wonderfully clear weather conditions, turns the vast lake surface into a sparkling giant mirror that beckons all eyes. Surrounding the edge of the lake is a peaceful natural space with dense forests covered in a cool green hue, creating a vibrant contrast with the sweltering heat of the temperate zone. The calm, expansive lake scenery, embracing the lush vegetation along the shore, not only soothes the eyes but also serves as an excellent healing therapy for the soul. Standing on precarious high viewpoints, gazing out at the sparkling blue stretch of water and filling your lungs with pure air, you will realize the true beauty of Lake Colbun. Formerly known as Termas de Cajón Negro, this structure was conceived and completed in 2004 by the talented hands of architect Germán del Sol, who aspired to bring sharp, geometric lines into the primitive, natural landscape to create a harmonious whole, helping the place win numerous prestigious international awards. The most overwhelming visual highlight of this hot spring complex is a vibrant red-painted Koihu wood walkway, stretching and winding for 450 meters along a stunning natural canyon. The surface of the walkway is designed as a gentle slope entirely without stairs, cleverly guiding the traveller's footsteps past babbling waterfalls and the lush vegetation of the Valdivian rainforest. Flowing right beneath that red wooden ribbon is pure mineral water, gushing from more than 60 underground springs, with an original temperature of up to 80 degrees Celsius. Spread along the canyon are 20 natural pools, 18 of which are stone pools used for soaking, with an ideal temperature ranging from 35 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. The magic of Termas Geometricas lies in the fact that this entire system uses no artificial machinery for filtering or heating. Instead, the boiling water is left to cool naturally and continuously circulates, regulated through sluice gate systems to always maintain absolute clarity and cleanliness. The experience of soaking in this hot spring complex is an awakening of all senses, as the body is enveloped in warm water that completely contrasts with the freezing, crisp air of the mountainous region of southern Chile. Puerto Varas, often hailed as the City of Roses, is an incredibly charming destination located in the Los Lagos region in southern Chile. Nestled peacefully on the shores of Lake Llanquihue, the city boasts a spectacular scenic backdrop with a direct view of the vast lake and towering, majestic, snow-capped volcanic peaks. Today, thanks to its topographical advantages and magnificent nature, Puerto Varas is emerging as a competitor to Pucon to become the premier adventure sports hub of the Chilean Lake District. Along the lakefront and hidden through the steep streets, the visual highlight that creates an intense attraction for the downtown area is the architectural works carrying the distinct breath of the European mountainous regions. The urban landscape is impressively depicted through heritage houses built of natural wood, wearing beautiful Gothic-style roofs and meticulously carved details. Strolling around the waterfront area, visitors can easily encounter the unique exterior designs of local museums, or restaurants extending their giant glass windows forward to fully capture the view of the majestic mountains. The intertwining of time-tinged old wooden houses stretching along the sloping hillsides down to the water has honoured the unparalleled romantic beauty of the entire area. Rising proudly from the wooden houses and dominating the city's skyline is the majestic scenery of the ancient churches. Amidst the Andes foothills in the Maule region, near the majestic Descabezado Grande volcano, Radal Siete Tazas National Park is a landscape of spectacular contrasts. There, the coldness of the distant white snow-capped peaks is embraced by the vibrant and lively vegetation of central Chile, creating a magnificent natural space that invites passionate explorers. The soul and the greatest visual masterpiece of the park is the Claro River, with its freezing, crystal-clear water. Over thousands of years, this relentlessly swift current has continuously eroded and carved deep into the pitch-black basalt to sculpt the Siete Tazas, 7 cups, a series of 7 exquisitely beautiful natural pools connected by small waterfalls ranging from 1 to 10.5 metres in height. The magnificence of the water does not stop there, but roars and cascades through vertical cliffs to create the Velo de la Novia Bridal Veil waterfall, plummeting spectacularly from a height of 40 metres. Enveloping this magical performance of water and stone are dense primordial forests nurtured by a mild Mediterranean climate. The vegetation landscape here is dominated by ancient tree species belonging to the Nothofagus genus. The scenery of the forest becomes significantly more captivating when entering autumn in May, as the falling leaves transform into a vibrant, warm colour palette, creating a charming contrast with the black of the volcanic rock and the turquoise colour of the river. In the indigenous Mapudungun language, the name Pucon means entrance to the mountains. Today, this small town has risen to become the adventure capital of Chile, standing out with the beauty of a mountain village characterized by a boutique wooden architectural style, harmoniously combining Western antiquity and the wild landscape of South America. The center of all attention in Pucon's pristine and majestic natural picture is the towering Villarrica volcano to the south. Known as the most active volcano in South America, with a perfect conical peak covered in snow all year round, Villarrica is like a proud deity ruling over the entire valley. Embracing the foot of the volcano and stretching towards the west is the vast and tranquil surface of Lake Villarrica. The tree-shaded lakeshore, intertwined with rolling hills, envelops the valley, creating a peaceful space that completely contrasts with the intensity of the towering volcano in the distance. Flowing through the valleys and dense primordial forests is a network of rivers with crystal clear water and occasionally stunning emerald green hues. Nestled amidst this magnificent natural picture, the downtown area of Pucon appears as a graceful, quiet note, taking on the appearance of a North American mountain village or the romantic Alps rather than a typical South American city. Along the gentle streets, the urban landscape is impressively depicted through rows of houses designed with rustic yet incredibly exquisite natural wood-panelled facades. Have you ever imagined standing at the end of the world, where the winds seem to still whisper the grand tales of past explorers? Come to Punta Arenas, the southernmost continental city in the world and the capital of the Magallanes region in southern Chile. This city is not merely a rest stop along the shores of the majestic Strait of Magellan, but also a strategic gateway leading to the wild land of Patagonia and Antarctic expeditions. It possesses a contrasting yet profoundly captivating beauty, creating a perfect blend between elegant European architecture and the pristine power of nature. Before the creation of the Panama Canal, Punta Arenas was once a bustling global commercial hub and a vital stopover for naval fleets connecting two oceans. The prosperity of that era has left the city with stunning mansions. Right in the middle of the square stands the statue of the great explorer Ferdinand Magellan, where locals often whisper a fascinating legend. If you kiss the foot of this statue, you will certainly return to Punta Arenas one day. Leaving the historical space behind, the wild nature will immediately beckon you with the nearby Magdalena Island, the home of over 100,000 adorable waddling Magellanic penguins. The most ideal time for you to immerse yourself in this grand journey is the Southern Hemisphere's summer from November to March, when the weather is warmer at 5 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius and the sunlight magically lasts up to 18 hours a day, allowing you to freely explore this legendary land from early dawn until late at night. If someone describes a flat coastal road stretching right at sea level, gliding past charming summer wooden houses, then you are standing at the longest and narrowest coastal resort in the Valparaiso region of central Chile. Located about 140 kilometers from the capital Santiago, equivalent to a 2-hour drive, and 57 kilometers north of Viña del Mar, this bohemian sanctuary serves as a magical doorway for visitors to escape the suffocation of urban concrete blocks. The intense appeal of Maitencillo lies not only in its rustic charm, but also in how nature has transformed this place into a mecca for active, sports-loving souls. With its coastline divided into 7 different beaches, most notably Aguas Blancas, this small town is actually the explosive epicenter for air and water sports in Chile. Interestingly, this town wears 2 contrasting masks depending on the time of your visit. If you arrive during the peak season, you will witness a spectacular transformation as the population explodes from 1,300 local residents to 12,000, bringing along a bustling and vibrant pace of life. However, as soon as the tourist season ends, Maitencillo immediately sheds its noisy vibe to revert to a tranquil and pristine beach, becoming so deserted that you would be hard-pressed to find an operating taxi or bus stop. Whether you crave a wildly vibrant summer or simply yearn for a quiet little corner to listen to the ocean's sighs, Maitencillo always knows how to tell you its own story. Valparaiso welcomes you with a brilliantly coloured steep maze clinging to 44 hills, where precarious open-air elevator systems had to be built just to go home. Once hailed by international sailors as Little San Francisco, or the Jewel of the Pacific, this seaport harbours an incredibly proud and crazy past. The cultural blend has left behind a spectacular Victorian architectural heritage that is intentionally and chaotically intertwined on the slopes, earning the city's historic area the honour of being recognised as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003. Visiting here, you do not need to buy tickets to enclosed museums because every corner of famous neighbourhoods like Cerro Alegre or Cerro Concepcion is already a giant outdoor art gallery. Brightly coloured houses of all shades are crowded together, precariously stacked on the edge of the coastal cliffs. This highly improvised urban design has transformed the entire city into a massive semicircular amphitheatre. In that theatre, the rolling hills act as spectacular grandstand seats where elegant European-inspired mansions intertwine with rustic houses leaning against each other to catch the Pacific winds. To navigate through this steep maze tangled with endless stairs that seem to drain one's strength, the open-air elevators, funiculars, are the absolute best saviours. Built gradually since the late 19th century to connect the flat port area with the towering hills, this renowned cable-pulled system operates much like time machines perch mid-air. Amidst a vast valley surrounded by the towering snow-capped peaks of the majestic Andes, there is a bustling metropolis reaching up to pierce the sky with its gleaming glass skyscrapers. Santiago, the capital of Chile, immediately envelops you with the hurried and bustling pulse of one of the most modern economic and political centers in South America. Stepping out of the subway system, which is rated as the most efficient and extensive on the continent, you will find yourself immersed in a magical intersection of space and time. The heart of the city proudly reigns at Plaza de Armas, a tree-shaded square established by a Spanish explorer in 1541, where majestic religious structures stand alongside street artists and a bustling crowd of pedestrians. Not far away is the marble structure named Palacio de la Moneda, a neoclassical mansion that once served as the national mint and is now the presidential palace, perfectly preserving all the ups and downs of the Republic. The prosperity of this city is evident when you look up to the sky to find Sky Costanera, the tallest skyscraper in South America, where the observation deck at a height of 300 meters will offer you a visually overwhelming 360-degree view, encompassing the vast urban expanse and the overlapping encirclement of the Andes. From that height, gazing into the distance, you will see the unique natural landscape that has shaped this metropolis. The city is nestled within a vast valley basin, completely embraced by towering, overlapping mountain cliffs to both the east and the west. Forget the concept of paved roads or cars because you're entering Caleta Tortel, a peculiar village without a single street. Nestled at the very end of the legendary Carretera Austral, where Chile's largest river, the Baker River, empties into the ocean, this village resembles a floating kingdom clinging to the cliffs, sandwiched between two massive eternal ice fields of wild Patagonia. The unparalleled charm of Caleta Tortel comes from an unimaginable architectural maze. Instead of roads, the entire village is connected and woven together by a network of boardwalks and steep walkways made entirely of Guaitecas cypress, stretching from 6 to 8 kilometers. Thousands of rustic Chiletan-style stilt houses reach out precariously over the clear blue water, hiding beneath the dense forest canopy. The landscape here is always immersed in a faint scent of wood amidst a rainy and cold atmosphere. The isolation of Caleta Tortel was so immense that it wasn't until 2003 that a road was finally opened to connect it to the outside world. Everything here requires patience and endurance, as you must leave your vehicle at the parking lot high on the hill and hike up steep stairs with your luggage to reach the guest houses. but the reward for that trade-off is priceless. Upon climbing to the top of the hill, you will fully take in the magnificent panoramic view of the characteristic milky blue bay reaching out into a maze of intricate straits. Visiting Caleta Tortel is not a relaxing trip to enjoy luxurious amenities, but rather a spectacular escape from the noise of the 21st century. As the sun begins to set, the entire tranquil water surface of one of the largest lakes in the Los Rios region will slowly transform into a vibrant orange hue. In the language of the indigenous Mapuche people, this giant mirror covering 442 square kilometers is named Lake Ranco, meaning waters of the crayfish. Unlike many large lakes in Chile that often have a towering volcano looming right on the shore, the landscape of Ranco is softer. Embraced by the lush greenery of the dense Valdivian rainforests and the spectacular folds of the Pre-Andes. What makes this place an incredibly ideal sanctuary for wandering is a stunning coastal route stretching for about 120 kilometers. Viewed from above, the surface of Lake Ranco resembles a vivid blue galaxy dotted with about 25 scattered islands. It also beckons adventurous souls with countless outdoor experiences. If you love tranquility, you can let yourself go kayaking down the peaceful river. However, if you choose to slowly take in the scenery from the shore, the exquisite harmony between the natural landscape and the lakeside houses is what truly captivates travelers. The boundaries of Lake Ranco are painted by crystal clear blue waters, gently embracing the fresh green patches. Far from being desolate, vitality surrounds every corner here, as almost all the islands scattered across the water and the long stretch of the lakeshore are dotted with countless colourful rustic houses. They do not rise arrogantly but hide beneath the shade of the primordial forest canopy, faintly visible behind the trees. In 1827, a fierce storm, bringing heavy rain and strong winds, swept away the lush vineyards along the coast of central Chile. However, that was exactly the fertile ground that gave birth to the spectacular rise of Viña del Mar. Officially founded in 1874 on the lands of aristocratic lineages, this place quickly rose to become the epicenter of the most brilliant Belle Époque, beautiful era in Chile. The elite from the capital Santiago in the past flocked here in droves, transforming the pristine land into a luxurious coastal resort sanctuary with highly exquisite summer rituals. Since then, the city has always been hailed by travelers with the beautiful moniker, the Garden City, La Ciudad Jardín, thanks to its cool green spaces shaded by trees that sprout and bloom all year round under a gentle Mediterranean atmosphere. Instead of clinging to breathtakingly precarious cliffs, the city centre smoothly stretches across the coastal plain, intersected by the poetic flow of the Marga estuary. Following the flat coastline that stretches for miles, you cannot help but be overwhelmed by the grand heritage left behind by the tycoons of the early 20th century. These include lavish neoclassical mansions hidden under tree canopies or castles with strong medieval influences, standing proudly on precarious rocky outcrops right at the edge of the waves. Interwoven among these iconic structures is a vibrant botanical world, punctuated by a giant, persistently operating clock made entirely of fresh flowers that bloom throughout the 4 seasons, a living testament to the ever-youthful and unfading beauty of this city. It is hard to believe that there are places where time-tinged architectural heritage can blend so crazily yet spectacularly into the exquisite surrounding natural landscape. There are so many mesmerizing hidden corners and brilliantly contrasting patches of color that we cannot help but be overwhelmed. But out of all the frames just shown, which little corner truly stole your heart and made you want to step foot there yourself the most? Please share your thoughts right below, and remember to turn on the notification bell because we will immediately jump into an equally crazy story in the next part.